Well, you specialize in the field of RPA, which is Robotic Process Automation. So just tell us a bit about how intelligent automation has come into this industry and what you do within your within RPA, the Robotic Process Automation.
Sure. First, thanks for having me. So obviously, as you said, intelligent automation is really taking over the landscape of financial services, industries, manufacturing, you name it. And it's probably important to understand that it has its different phases. So kind of at the bottom end of the spectrum, you have robotics. And all that robotics is it's meant to copy or mimic human behavior. So it's the same way that a human would open up an Excel spreadsheet, run a whole bunch of analysis, and then send an email out. You'll just program or configure the robot to do the exact same thing. And the reason is it's used to speed up your time, so reduce the cost for data, get better efficiencies, and then also reduces errors because humans are prone to error.
But can't you have robots that make errors?
Yeah, of course, but you have to see it this way. The robot is only going to be as intelligent or as smart as the human that's configured it.
Okay.
So if a human has configured the robot incorrectly, it's not actually the robot that's making the bad judgment or decisions. It's the human that's programmed it incorrectly.
Okay.
So then at the top end of the spectrum, you have what we call AI or machine learning. And AI stands for, obviously, artificial intelligence. And all that really is, again, is it's designed to make the robot or the software seem like it has intelligence or it seems like it's sophisticated. But all it actually does is it mimics behavioral patterns. So it's the same way you decided today to wear this jacket. Obviously, it's cold. It looks like it might rain. There was a decision process that took place. You woke up in the morning, you saw the clouds, and you decided, I need to wear something that's warm.
Okay. And we've seen this really affect the business industry from the beginning of the last decade, where it came onto the scene, and many people did lose their jobs. We saw a different way of working where, just like you said, robots have now taken over what humans could do. So time has been saved, money has been saved also. So just, you work within the financial industry. How has RPA affected the financial industry?
I think massively, and I think one of the things to probably note is just what you mentioned around there's this misconception that robots have come to take the jobs away from humans. And the truth is that wasn't the design of robots. The word robotics in itself, it was coined by this software CEO, and he used it to be emotive language so that you see the robot as part of your organization. So in the same way as that you wouldn't hire an employee into your workplace and then leave them in the corner for 6 months without giving them any training, is the same way that once you've configured your robot, you're constantly adding things and updating its software so it stays in part of the current trend. The second thing to note is that first stage robotics, or RPA, has really been brought in to take away minimal tasks from people. So instead of having a human that is sitting down doing mundane tasks for 7 hours a day,
which times people do complain, a lot of the times people do complain about that.
100%. And if you see it in its practical sense, like at the checkout, you have faster processing because you have a machine that can scan. Traditionally, that was done by humans. So it's really high volume tasks, so tasks that are done in mass, but they're low skills or low value add. So if you think about a bank or a call center, the majority of their call centers are abroad, simply because one, it's cheaper labor, and two, it deals with different time zones. Now, with the introduction of AI or chatbots, you have a robot that is able to deal with a customer's queries in real time without having to wait for them to check something or putting them on hold. So in that instance, you're seeing that the robot's actually helping the industry. And then back to your point, it's not taking away jobs, it's actually repositioning humans to do what humans are meant to do, which is critical and analytical thinking.
That's good.
So, so the robot effectively does all of the lifting, which is all of the hard work of taking the data, and then it gives it to a human in a kind of a bite-sized chunks where it can analyze the data or analyze the information. And that's what we're seeing within financial services. One of the early adopters of robotics within financial services, probably the insurance part of the business. And with insurance, you have massive claims. That's all insurance does effectively.
People constantly claiming.
And the issue that they have there is all of the paperwork that comes in that they now have to go through. You have to spot if somebody's trying to be fraudulent before you make a claim.
Yeah.
Now you've got these robots that are taking away all of that hard work. So you have robots that are able to scan documents, whether they come in from your motor insurer, whether they're coming in from a hospital, and it can detect if there's fraud. So it can detect a false signature, it can detect false paperwork, and then it can actually process the claim and make the payment. There was an article that I read recently of an insurance company called Lemonade.
Okay.
Very interesting name, I know. And they had a world record of an insurance being paid in 3 seconds.
Okay.
And the main reason was that somebody had hit their car, they uploaded a picture and the documentation, and then the robot had all of these algorithms to check if there was fraud, to check if the paperwork was correct, and paid the claim within 3 seconds. Now, just to give you an idea, without the robot in play, that claim could have taken 3 to 7 to a month to be paid. So you're seeing it's actually benefiting the end customer like you and I, and it's also improving businesses in the same time.
So is it just businesses on like a massive scale that can benefit, or can small businesses benefit from AI?
I think it's like with everything. The bigger you are and the more you utilize something, then the better the benefit is for you.
Yeah.
Of course, the larger organizations are early adopters because they have, let's put it like this, a bank cannot compete with another bank on price.
Yeah.
Because most of their products are usually around the same price. All they can really compete on is customer service. So they want to provide a better customer service experience, which means better efficiencies, quicker timing. So they introduce robotics so that the humans can spend time with other humans, interacting, dealing with customer complaints. So in terms of the small businesses, think about a HR process. You want to recruit the next bright talent. You can actually set up your robot or configure a robot to go through LinkedIn, to go through different CVs and look out for particular keywords, and therefore you can get your next best candidate, as opposed to taking somebody 7 hours a day, especially with the small businesses because they have limited resource.
Yeah.
So the robotics is also applicable to small, medium and large scale businesses.
So for anybody that is out there thinking they want to learn a new skill, is RPA or intelligent automation, is that a good route to go down?
100%. And I say it like this. I think intelligent automation is here to stay.
Yeah.
Let's make no mistake about it. It's not this big boom or exciting thing that in the next 5-10 years is going to disappear. It's here to stay.
Yeah.
And the reason is you're seeing it in the medical field.
Yeah.
There was a test with machine learning, which basically can detect cancer cells 80% quicker than traditional scientific instruments.
Wow.
And I think that's fantastic for the world of science. You've got the finance industry, which I just spoke about, and then you've got manufacturing and retailing. Of course, we're hearing talks about driverless cars.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be getting in one of those anytime soon, but it's here to stay.
Yeah.
It's almost like when you think about in the early 90s and the internet was this big thing, and some people thought the internet was going to come and go, but it's here today and has revolutionized the way we work.
Yeah.
And robotics is exactly the same thing. It's here to stay, and it's only going to grow.
Yeah.
We've spoken about kind of the initial part of RPA or intelligent automation, which is the robot simply mimicking human behavior, which is really RPA or intelligent automation in its most simplest form.
Yeah.
Then you move on to AI, which is artificial intelligence, which is the robot now being able to interpret data and make decisions. And then right at the top or the pinnacle is machine learning, whereby the robot or the algorithm is learning as decisions are being made. So it's actually getting smarter each time it's being used. And yeah, it's here to stay.
So for anyone that wants to get involved within the RPA field, learning machine learning and robotics, what can they do? So
thanks for asking. We've actually got a course. So there's several different courses that you can do. But if you want to come in kind of at an intermediary level, maybe you've done business analysis, maybe you've done agile, or any kind of business kind of skills, there are simple softwares that you can learn. And you don't have to be IT proficient. You can really just have the basic understanding of business. There's a website that should be coming up on the screen, hopefully. And it's Mainstream Careers.
Okay.
I've actually got a session that I'm running on the 8th and the 9th of February, and there'll be another one in March, which is training people on Blue Prism, which is one of the leading RPA software. So anybody that wants to learn or get involved into the industry, feel free to go onto the website and book your place.
Awesome. That was very, very insightful. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you for the insight into the world of intelligent automation. Just like you said, it is the future, is not going anywhere, so people should get on board, find out what it's all about and see how they can use it to benefit their own business.
100%.
Thank you.